separation allows us to get over some of these limiting beliefs, which could be very, very challenging. Everyone has them. If you look at your life, what you're talking about, oh, I'm too overwhelmed, I'm doing too many things and everything, but you're here. Okay? You're here. You don't have to really master every information, but you have to be vigilant in a given situation and be interactive, how your senses take in and what it does, and you allow that processing to happen, and slowly and steadily you will feel that you are much more peaceful. I see quite a few people who do 1 or 2 things in a day, and their whole day completely rattled. Oh, I have to do these couple of things. And I see people who have 200 things to do in time and make sure that they are doing it right, but they are completely peaceful and easy about it. So it's not about how you are, but how you believe yourself in changing the way you think. You can't be trapped because I think a lot and I have to keep myself busy. No. How can you make sure that you think the right things, maybe slow down the thinking and consciously press your Control-Alt-Delete button to purge away the unwanted thoughts? You know where those buttons should be. Okay? In general, you are always looking at your own mind. And before we start doing it to other people, see how much control you are with your own mind, your own emotions, your own thoughts. And one thing we are going to learn, which is going to be very unique, is that the thought generation happens when your senses are constantly interacting with many things. Is that correct? Okay, so if I'm watching 4 hours of television, if I'm running around like crazy the whole day, at the end of the day when I close my eyes, this whole world which I did for 4 hours is going to be processed at some point. But when I'm sitting in a cave in Africa, or just having that little life around me with just few trees around me and very little things to do, that's exactly what is going to fill my mind. I will still generate thoughts there, I will still generate thoughts here, but the quality of the thoughts, the traffic of the thoughts is much less because my senses have really interacted less. For you to slow down, take out your computer time. Stop looking at your emails before you sleep. Don't really do unwanted web surfing without any reason. Okay? Don't really try to keep your senses busy with something. Either you're watching, listening, yeah, it's junk. Because constantly every word that you're listening into a song is going to be processed in a manner of thought afterwards. So you withdraw your senses and the thoughts will go down automatically. Automatically. There is no rocket science to that. I saw a lady the other day. She's a very famous author. She is a very sought after speaker. She is at the top. They have this whole speaker circuit, they call it, in the country, where very famous people who have written books and things are a part of that. And the minimum criteria for you to be in that speaking circuit is when you are paid $10,000 to give 1 hour talk. That's the criteria. When you are paid $10,000 for a 1 hour talk to people, and those people are joining in that club. And this lady is giving about, I would say, 3 or 4 these kind of talks every week around the country. And she's all the time flying, writing books, having sessions with her writers and just dictating things, and they sit together and the books are constantly being churned and everything like that. So she's there. So she came to see me for some treatments and everything, and totally vata mess. She couldn't sit straight, she couldn't talk, she was fidgeting, she was doing hundreds of things. As I was feeling her pulse, she was texting with the other hand. I was feeling her pulse and she was texting with the other hand. And when I looked at her, I said that if we are going to do these 7 days of treatment, Panchakarma, you're here all the way, I have to request you a few things. And she said, what is that? And I said, I have to take your BlackBerry away from you. I have to take your laptop away from you. I have to change this fancy hotel where you are living, and I have to send you a little monastery which is around the corner from here, and you'll be staying there in the forest close to my clinic. There is no internet connection there, and the cell phones don't work. And you are going to leave these things in my custody for 7 days, and I'll give you back after the treatment. And she looked at me, she said, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, I want you to observe an electronic fast. And she said that, why do you want me to observe an electronic fast? I said, you're here to manage this vata imbalance, what you're dealing with. You have multiple symptoms which are affecting how your nervous system is functioning. If I want to really give a complete rest to your nervous system and reboot it, I have to take all the sensory faculties away from you. You're not going to watch television, you're not going to listen to your iPod, you're not going to talk to anyone, you're not going to send any emails. She said, my life depends upon it. I said, that's what you think. That's what you think. If you're smashed by the roadside today by a car, what is going to happen? The world goes on. Okay, so if you don't respond to your emails for 7 days, what's going to happen? She said, oh, let me just send one email to my secretary and she will connect with everything. I said, yeah, go ahead and do that. I will do it, allow you to send one email. She sent that email. 7 days, she was not allowed to do anything. She was living in a monastery, taking a short walk, listening to herself. For the first 2 days, she slept like crazy. 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours she was sleeping. And third, fourth day, she just started crying uncontrollably. Nothing could console her. She just don't know from where all this crying was coming from. She says, I have never cried in my life for the last 5-10 years. Never. Even when people tell me sad stories, this and that, I'm always there as a speaker to guide them, as a guru, as a teacher to tell them what to do. I never really connect with them at a level where I feel compassionate about that. I just tell them how to fix it. And when I started really looking at everything, when you took everything away from me, it just created a complete degree of void, silence, and it was so crazy that I couldn't really control myself crying. From day 3, 4, and 5, she was completely crying like a mess. Means if anybody would have seen this person, they would not have believed that this is the confident lady who features in all these big films and everything like that, that this is who she is. It's talking about her childhood, talking about her 2 relationships, the breakup, the sadness, the grief, the anger, all kind of things which just came up. And she responded so well to these treatments, 5-7 days, that after the 7th day when she came to me, she said this is the best thing she has ever done in her life. It felt as if a deep, deep, deep-seated kind of rest which she really required when she was just running around from pillar to post, making so many things happen, what she wanted to nourish herself. And that nourishment was taking the senses away from making them do weird things. Because that's what your mind. You can't say, I think a lot. Yeah, take everything what you train your senses with. Then you will think less. Is that right? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it?
It's so simple, it's stupid.
It's stupid, it's nonsense. So many sensory things that we use. Does it make sense? Is it nonsense?
What about also the beliefs that the fruits of our labor and the results of our labor are actually up to us? Because when we believe that, and then we don't get the results we expected, then we come down on ourselves and we're hard on ourselves. When really, I mean, our job, our duty is to do the duty, to do the job. And sometimes the results really aren't up to us.
That's correct, because many times you always kick yourself in the back that, oh God, I did something, so I should get this much results from it. Many times you put effort, maybe up to 30% of effort and you get 200% result. Sometimes you put 200% of effort and you get 30% of result. In both situations you are helpless. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Because 30% of result which is yielding 200% is not coming because of your efforts. It's just the support of nature, why it is supporting the activity you are doing. And many times the 200% of effect not resulting into is also depending upon the greater environment which is not under your control. You are controlling your actions, you are not controlling the response, what it will happen to your actions. Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachanam. I am responsible for my words, speech and actions. I am not responsible for what reaction the universe is going to get to that. If the thought, intentions, actions are clean, pure, nice and healthy, I will get good results. If not, then it will not. But it doesn't stop me from putting my efforts. It should not discourage me, neither it should encourage me and flatter me to a level where I become so egoistic that, oh God, I did this, I made this happen, I manifested this and that. Can you separate yourself from the outcome of both situations? And many times if you're too harsh and too self-critical and you're beating yourself all the time, thinking that, oh God, you're the smartest person in the world and it should happen exactly the way you want it, but you wish. I see this every time. Means I see so many patients who doesn't matter how smart you are as a doctor, but it's up to them whether they're going to listen to you and they're going to apply the information that you tell them. It's not about me. I can say that I am the smartest doctor and your symptoms should go away because I told you to do so. It's not about you. It's about whether they are going to do it. And even if they do it, at certain phase in their life when they're going to get better anyway. Is that right? I will really think that, oh, I fixed you. But no. It's the time when it was going to be, it was meant to be a certain time when the things are going to happen. You merely become a vehicle of making it happen through you. You become a vehicle of experiencing the things happening through you. In the olden days, the doctor used to have a corner note there that I treat, he cures. I treat, he cures. And when you create that separation in your everyday work, that I'm putting my efforts, but I hope that I have support of nature to manifest these things, that's when they're going to happen. So, looking at your mindset, looking at your psyche, looking at your attitude, looking at your aspirations, desires, ambitions, efforts, and the clarity of your senses is one part. But what it does and how it gets response, that is the second part. But both of those things are not two compartments. They are all not just one-way traffic, but it's a two-way traffic, because everything you manifest will depend upon what you have, and what you have will depend upon what you will manifest. So you have to work on both of these areas and still wait for certain things. Is that correct? Because especially I am a medical astrologer and I speak about astrology and Jyotish and things like that. There's a willpower and there's a destiny. Is that correct? There's a willpower. There's some things that you will do with the willpower, but there's still a wheel of destiny which will swing in your favor and which will make you think the right kind of thing or not. It's the chicken or egg situation. Whether you are destined to make the right choice and whether you are making the right choice and creating the destiny. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't consider this is a happenstance that you guys are all here and we're talking about these weird things. It was all meant to be. We're all meant to be in here at this point of time talking and discussing these things together. It's almost like a deja vu like experience that, yeah, it has all happened before and we are just seeing it happening it one more time. When you are looking at your life as whether you are destined to meet someone or destined to experience someone, then your effort goes to a certain extent should be minimized. Is that right? Whether you get the desired success, whether you get a desired failure, whether you are landing up into a great relationship, whether you are landing into a problematic relationship, the moment you look at the wheel of destiny in that, you don't really kick yourself in the back and be self-critical and too harsh on yourself. Or something good happens to you should happen in the same manner. It should happen with the degree of equanimity in both of these areas of your life. Should it be? And when it starts happening, that's when we say that you are slowly becoming a spiritual person who is patient, who is flexible, who is kind, who is considerate, who is trying to do the best of his ability and leaving the results to the Almighty and experiencing whatever comes to him. Because the things will happen to you which you don't have any control over.